Each day, we're confronted with circumstances in life that requires us to make decisions. It has been estimated that we make about 35,000 decisions a day. And one study ascertained that of the remotely conscious decisions we make every day, 226.7 of them are about food alone. Now, some decisions that we make are easy, but there are times we have to make decisions that can have life-altering and monumental significance in our lives and that of others. These are times that we have to have a deeper level of contemplation. Now, making good decisions requires careful reflection and tactics. It can also be from experience, knowledge, or precedence. Now, know that no matter how well you master the art of making good decisions, you're still susceptible to making mistakes. Now, there are a few things to consider in order to make decisions that you will not regret. Number one, relax. Slow down. When we have a tough decision to make, there's a tendency to become anxious and tense, but don't allow stress and anxiety to overwhelm you. If you're stressed, you may end up hastening your decisions without proper analysis and calculation. What you can do when you have a big decision to make is to do something that relieves you of stress. Walk your dog, watch your favorite TV show, hang out with a friend, or just do something else. Sometimes just doing nothing and sitting still for a bit can be very helpful. And it's hard to think logically under pressure, and sometimes your first idea isn't always the best one. So give yourself the chance to process the situation and to feel sure about the course of action you're about to choose. And relaxing also helps you to control your emotions, because making decisions based on feelings and emotions can be detrimental. The best time to make a decision is when you are in a good mental and emotional state. Now, when you're anxious or scared, you're definitely not acting with emotional intelligence. This is because rationality does not live in the same space as fear. Be careful about making decisions when you are excited. Now, wait for your excitement to die down before you act. Now, some people spend huge sums of money because a salesman got them excited. So slow down before you make a big commitment. When you're excited, don't make any commitment. Number two, you need to evaluate your options. Weigh the pros and cons, and I usually write them down. Now, when you do this, it will also help you to see that things are not as bad as they seem. Ask yourself what is important to you and the people that will be affected by the decision that you're about to make. What are the outcomes of the different options, and how will it affect you and your objectives, values, purpose, and plans? You know, some people make decisions by tossing a coin and acting based on which side hits the ground. What? Now, when I was a kid, we used to play this game called Tumbo Tumbo or Eeny Meeny Miny Mo. That should not be the case. Now, the thing is, if you make a decision after careful evaluation, even if things do not work out at the end, you will actually feel better because you did your best under the circumstances and you actually did your homework. In evaluating, do some research about what others in similar situations did and the consequences. Ask yourself questions about how each option will affect your current and future position and circumstances. Now, while evaluation is great, do not over-evaluate. I have one problem. When I'm faced with a tough decision, I overthink things. This can make you, not to make a choice at all or to make a move out of fear or trepidation. While weighing your options, try to remove yourself from the situation sometimes and imagine that you're not a key player. And this will help you to be objective and to decide based on reason and the right motive. Now, considering the short and long-term consequences is very important. This is because some options may not be beneficial in the short term, but may have long-term benefits. Bishop T.D. said something interesting. He says, never make a permanent decision about a temporary situation. Number three, confide in someone. Now, when faced with a tough decision, talking to the right person can be eye-opening. Find someone you trust and talk to them. Roy H. Williams said something really interesting. He said, a smart man makes a mistake, learns from it, and never makes that mistake again. But a wise man finds a smart man and learns from him how to avoid the mistake altogether. Now, it can be advantageous to get another person's opinion on your issue, but be very objective and open-minded about your options Sometimes we make it difficult for people to give us advice because we have preconceived notions about things, and sometimes when we go to someone for advice, you're the same person offering solutions and you're silencing them. So oftentimes they just agree with you and leave you to your fate. So make sure that, if you're going to someone to ask for advice, that you listen more and talk less. While confiding in someone is great, you have to be very careful and make sure that you do your homework and evaluate everything before seeking external help. Now, know who you are, what your values and objectives are, so that you can analyze each idea and see if it fits in the grand scheme of things for you. Do not make a decision to please the person you confided in. Make it clear from the beginning that at the end of the conversation, you will give it a thought, and then do not commit to anything. Do not create a remedy from another person's prognosis. Remain on the driver's seat and make the turn yourself, and be ready to take full responsibility. Number 4, be focused on your objectives. One of the most efficient decision-making approach is to be cognizant of your goals and objectives. Ask yourself what your decision will do to advance or limit your goal. What do you really want? Be honest about it. Now, when you identify what matters to you, you make decisions that matter. What are your plans and aspirations, and that of the people that will be affected by your decision? The answer to these questions will give you a good perspective on where you need to head. Now, sometimes when we are uncertain about a decision, it is often because our desire may not be in alignment with our principles, goals, or objectives. Your mind may be going west, but your heart may be going east. Now, if you're in this situation, make sure that you do what you should do and not what you must do. Let reason override desire. Number 5, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Now, making tough decisions requires courage. Fear is your number 1 enemy when you have an important decision to make. Many people fail to act because they are afraid of making mistakes. The crazy thing is, when you are afraid, you begin to see things everywhere that confirm and validate your fears. It is true that what you focus on grows. Albert Einstein said, "A person who never made a mistake never tried anything new." Do what you have to do, and if things do not work out, learn and grow from it and move on. Making mistakes is not a bad thing, as it can fuel your confidence in your capabilities to do better in the future. Remember that trusting your gut and instincts is important, especially if you're in a good mental and emotional state. Believe in yourself. The biggest mistake you should avoid is failing to make a decision or sitting on the fence because you do not want to make a mistake. Do not procrastinate. Go ahead and make that decision today.
Subscribe to Patricia Bebiamawa's YouTube page for more inspirational videos.